Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for walking with me. Beautiful day today in sunny, fun Lewiston, Maine. We're going to do a 6-mile walk today. And if you're just joining this channel, I noticed some traffic has been picking up. Must be people into walking and exercise. If you're new to the channel, I discuss whatever is on my mind this day. And lately it's been a lot of politics. Also firearms. I love firearms. Maine is definitely a gun state. A lot of people think it is a deep blue state, but it's not. It's actually a purple state, and the Democrats would like to do a lot of things here. They're not able to, because even the Democrats own firearms here. So hello.
Hi.
How are you? Oh, somebody on a motorcycle listening to Slayer. Why not? So this is the pickleball court that they're putting in here. For a while I didn't know what it was until they painted it, and then even then I didn't know what it was. Because I don't really know much about pickleball. But there it is. If there's any pickleball aficionados watching. So there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now in the political spectrum, as one would expect in the United States of America these days. We have the Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris debate tomorrow night. And I can already tell you ahead of time, the biased propagandist media is going to say it's the best debate they've ever seen in their lives. Kamala won. They tried to do that with Biden until it was like so bad there was no way they could do that. They're going to issue their post-debate polls that they took. It's going to say that Kamala did better than Trump. They've done that for every debate. They even did that for the one with Biden. It's like they just had it queued up to go out or something. They didn't think Biden was going to be that bad. So they like to cheat and do their shenanigans. So I was reading about Kamala Harris is practicing for this debate using a Trump impersonator. Excuse me. And I don't know how that's going to work out for her. I also heard that she was upset that they changed the rules for the microphones, and she couldn't get her way on that. So they have to try practicing with new tactics. They're trying to get a viral internet soundbite, something that gets everybody talking about her. And what's really funny is while they're working on that and practicing that, they are, the Trump team is actually just going over with their policy people his policies, and he wants to be clear on everything that he's going to be talking about and be informed on topics that they may bring up. So while one is trying to find a way to go viral and have something controversial, Trump is more worried about actually having the information for the public and getting his facts straight and things like that. And it doesn't matter either, because whatever he says, the media is going to say he's lying. That's not entirely true, or there's no evidence of that. It's a game the media has been playing since 2015, and obviously it's not working, because he's been around for 9 years and he's more popular now than he was, so, which he is. So I touched on a couple things yesterday on my woods walk. You know, they like to say things like Trump is not popular, people don't like him, this, that, and the other thing. And we know that's not true, because he has a more favorable, he's held more favorably by the public than he was in 2015 or 2020. And he's polling better than he has. And the other polling, which the Democrats are in a panic about today, is the other polling says that Kamala Harris is behind where Hillary was and Biden was. So the reason for the debate that Trump and Biden had back in June, the end of June, excuse me, was because Biden was slacking in the polls, and it was looking like he was going to probably lose to Trump. So that was an attempt, by scheduling that debate, to resurrect Biden in the polls, which obviously had a different effect. But it's one of those things that I'm pretty sure the Democrats will regret doing now. Not by losing that debate, but because they lost the debate and Biden was forced out by his own party. They literally forced him out. So, I mean, that's what they did. So I noticed a new Trump sign out here, so we're going to walk by and take a look at it. So anyway, I honestly believe the Democrats would have been better off just leaving Biden in there as a candidate. So he has a name. A lot of people don't know who the hell Kamala is, and they're searching for her online. They don't like what they see. So there we go. Got the Trump sign. Very happy to see that. Now, if you're just tuning in, this area we are in, this is my neighborhood. It is a Trump neighborhood. It is part of ME2 in Maine. ME2 gave Donald Trump an electoral college vote twice, and I anticipate he'll get a third one. So, just a guess. There was a poll in the University in New Hampshire that said Kamala was leading ME2 by 17 points over Trump. And, oh, sir, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Because, at the school over here, it's the most ridiculous thing I've seen in my life, because Trump won this district twice, He got an electoral college vote. And back in February, there was a poll done. Trump had a 20-point lead on Biden in this district in Maine. So for Kamala Harris to make up 37 points after replacing Biden, if you don't believe there's something wrong with the polling at this point, then I don't know what to tell you, really. It's blatantly obvious. And trust me, Trump would not be ahead in the polls unless he really is ahead, because this is the first time he's been ahead in the polling, which the New York Times Siena poll 3 weeks ago said Kamala was ahead by 4 points. Now Trump is ahead a point. So this is the fallout for the post-CNN interview. The public watched that interview on CNN, and now Kamala's falling like a stone. People understand what she was saying. They heard it from her herself. She's a communist, and nothing says you're a communist than having policies that communists use, and Americans are not going to fall for that. Now, if you've been walking with me for a while, I said a couple months ago that by mid-September she was going to be falling in the polls. Many experts have said that, so that's not my own genius assumption. I read a lot, and I watch a lot of video with people that people usually don't watch, people that know, that people that are in the business. And this was anticipated because she's not a good candidate. So, and they got stuck with her. The Democrats got stuck with her because Joe Biden picked her for running mate as VP. And that was a self-professed DEI hire, which he stated on his White House website when he was they had a thing on there about DEI, and there was a paragraph dedicated to Kamala being a DEI hire. So it's not a derogatory thing to say that. It's factual. I guess they couldn't find another person of color that was a woman. They did what the DNC always does. And I'll guarantee you Biden did not pick her. The DNC picks everybody. They micromanage, they control everything for the Democrats. This is all the DNC is doing, which includes anointing Kamala instead of voters voting for her. So they deserve to lose just on that, because there are a lot of liberals not happy with that either. They're going to vote for Kamala, but they're not happy that she's there. They didn't have a say in it. So, anyways, that's my opinion on that stuff. So, it's probably going to turn out to be the worst decision Biden has ever made for the Democrats. She's just not a good candidate. Trump has his faults too, but he's our guy. He's not perfect, neither are we, and I'm tired of slick talking politicians. I'm more concerned about things like Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania and the Secretary of State there, who is in charge of elections. That's what I'm concerned about. Kamala loses Pennsylvania, she lost the election. They don't want Trump to be president, so Trump needs to win big in PA, because mathematically it does get to a certain point where they just can't cheat enough to make up the votes. So we'll see if we see any more new Trump signs. Previously there was 4, I believe. That one down there we passed was the 5th one. Like our route that we take on our way back from range day on the weekends, because we go shooting every weekend. 2020, there was Trump flags everywhere. Lawn signs. And unfortunately, somebody went driving by stealing all the signs. And it actually made the news because she got arrested. She had her freaking Subaru hatchback. No shocker, right? A white liberal woman's favorite vehicle to drive. And it's also the #1 selling vehicle to the LGBT community in New England. The Subaru Forester and Outback. Anyway, she had all these signs stacked up in her car. And theft of property here, when you get caught, is at the minimum a $500 fine. And I believe she got charged for the couple dozen signs that she had in her car. She was just driving around stealing Trump signs. She got in trouble. And during the last election, the police departments issued a statement saying anybody stealing political signs will be charged and fined. It is a crime if they have you on video doing it. That's it. We have video surveillance at the house. Our relatively new neighbors put up 2 Trump banners. They got a Trump flag. We got a Trump flag. A new Trump flag went up across the street. And these are 2 places that I never saw Trump flags up. From our part of the neighborhood, about 1.5 miles over yonder, was for a while we were the only Trump lawn signs or flags, and I think that's just because people are afraid to put them out. We already got yelled at once. My car going by, effing racist, because there's a Trump flag out there. So I don't know what makes people do that. Anybody that's dumb enough to believe that Trump is actually a Hitler or a racist, I'd like to say they shouldn't be allowed to vote, but it's an equal right. But that's pretty bad, to be that susceptible to propaganda. These are the same people same kind of people that nodded their head in agreement and turned the other way when the quote-unquote Jewish problem in World War II Germany was being remedied by people disappearing and being rounded up. And of course the citizens weren't told where they were going. They were just glad they were gone because the propaganda said they were the cause of their problems. So they try to say that that's what we're doing with immigration. No, it isn't. We want all immigrants to come here legally to contribute. We don't want other countries jailed criminals. We don't want their psych wards, mental patients dumped here. And unfortunately, that's exactly what has happened. Plus, we have been infiltrated by terrorist cells, which don't be shocked. if that rears its ugly head before the election with a terrorist act, similar to what we saw in Moscow when 100 citizens were killed at a concert by terrorists with full auto machine guns. And I told you about that illegal arrested 35 miles from here in Portland, which is a liberal shithole. And he got into an argument with somebody in a business, threatened that person, displayed a 9mm firearm, didn't shoot it. Then he left and he discharged his firearm in the parking lot because he was mad. So he got arrested, and when he got arrested, it led to law enforcement finding a fully automatic machine gun, an AK-47, an illegal one. I'll point out that machine guns are legal in Maine, fully auto, but you have to have a tax stamp from the government, and the FBI and ATF takes them over a year to process it. You pay, I think it's like $400 now, and if you're denied for it, they don't refund your $400 you paid. That's $400 you pay to be have permission to own a machine gun, but you are thoroughly vetted, and they can deny you for whatever reason they want to, basically. But it is legal to own a machine gun in Maine, and some people do. I don't have any interest in a full auto machine gun. It's not necessary for my practical uses of it. And a lot of times full auto is basically only good for when you're in combat and you need to spray a lot of bullets at one time, and you have a lot of bullets on hand to shoot. But home defense and things like that, you can pull the trigger pretty fast enough to take care of most problems, and actually will help you be more accurate with it. And just my opinion on that. So these are, ooh, these have a heavy oil smell. So these are poles, obviously. They look similar to these. Don't know if they're going to be replacing these poles, but we had a couple of major storms last winter that knocked out power to hundreds of thousands of people in Maine. And there's only 1.4 million people in Maine, so hundreds of thousands means 2/3 or 3/4 of the people in the state lost power, at least for a day. Ours was out for about 5 days. Living off a generator is not fun. I don't recommend it. And oh, I just caught a whiff of those pigs. There's some pigs in here. There's some oinkers right in there. I don't see them yet. But there are some farms up here, and look at this beautiful view. And trust me, it's not going to look as good on this as it does in person. But I wanted to come over here because I wanted to see if very many leaves are turning yet. They're starting to turn right now, beginning of September. By the 1st and 2nd week of October, this whole hillside is going to be bright reds and oranges and on fire. It's going to be a nice view, which we will look at when the time comes. And you're looking at part of the second most populated city in the state. So there's only about 38,000 people in Lewiston, and that's where I live. And there's not very many people here in the whole state. So consequently, southwestern Maine, where most of the people live, is mostly liberal, dribbled in here from Massachusetts and Connecticut, the loony bird states. So most of Maine is red when you look at it on a map. And just these couple little pockets down in the southwest of Maine. They elect our governor, they elect the legislature, they elect Congress, the Senate in Maine. And that being said, they do not go whole hog, as we see a pig. Hi, buddies. That was that white pig with black spots. It looks like a Dalmatian. It looks like a Dalmatian fire dog. It's a fire pig. Hi, fire pig. Hi. Boy, they have a deep snort. It's like, it's pretty cool. Death metal pigs. Death metal fire pigs. Anyway, I'm enjoying my day. What can I tell you? Trump's leading in the polls. And let me tell you, you know, he's leading in the polls. And what they're not telling you is that these polls are rigged to begin with. They have been slanted Democrat for a while. Excuse me. And so these polls have been inaccurate. Now, the interesting thing I wanted to tell you is that the New York Times Siena poll shifted their strategy for this poll they just released with Trump ahead. Now, to show you how bad it is for Kamala, I'll explain to you. Most of the other polling was against Donald Trump by 2, maybe 3%. New York Times Siena poll was against Donald Trump by 5 to 6%. So they shifted their polling to be +2 away from what they were doing in favor of Trump. And when they did that, Trump went ahead by a point. So they were biased. They were biased by 5 to 6% previously, shifted over for 2, and now Trump is ahead. So what does that tell me? That tells me that Kamala's further behind than they're making it look. And that coincides with the other polling. And, you know, all I got to tell you is we don't have to throw any numbers out there, actual numbers. Just check out the polling. If you get spare time, look up the polling like for Washington State, for Oregon, California, New York State, Virginia, all of these solid blue states. Look up where Biden was in 2020. Look up where Hillary was in 2016. Those polls are available. Some of these websites you can choose what year you want to look at, so you know, take a look around, see what you find, and you will find that Kamala Harris is between 5 and 10 points less than what Biden and Hillary did in some of these states. So can only be two possibilities of that. Either the Republicans are overperforming and doing very well because people are sick of leftist policies, which may be the case, or the polling is bad. I tend to believe that people are getting sick of woke politics. They have kids in school. They didn't think this was going to affect them because they wanted to be, you know, the liberal, empathetic. Oh, the Democratic Party loves everybody, equality, yada, yada, yada. Until their kid came home saying, I'm non-binary and I'm thinking about having my breasts removed. So things usually don't bother people till it shows up in their own house. They don't care about drug overdoses until their kid overdoses or a relative. And it's the way people are. So this is starting to catch up with the Democrats, I guess is my point. And we're seeing that in the polling. DEI, transgender ideology, gender ideology, climate fear, booga booga booga. All of this stuff saying we have to sacrifice for the greater good. All of those causes are far left extremist radical causes. Climate change. Now whether climate change is real, whether it's fake, whatever, doesn't matter. They're exploiting it like they exploit everything, every social issue. The private energy sector in the United States primarily funds Republicans. So if you're going out and defacing fossil fuel, defaming I mean, fossil fuel, destroying our planet, trying to use ridiculous comments like the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't change course. What do we got, like a year and a half left on that? A couple of years. It doesn't look like the world's ending to me. It's not going to end anytime soon. And in fact, if we did something to the planet and we end up wiping all of us out, the planet will recover and morph into something else. It always has, it always will. There's no destroying the planet. Now, save ourselves, well, that's a different story. So we definitely need to clean up pollution, get the trash out of the oceans, the plastics that is affecting sea life. It's affecting a lot of things. All the money wasted on this climate change bullshit could have been spent to a much better cause to clean everything up. But they don't want to do that because it's not politically advantageous. Meaning it doesn't defund the Republican Party. Everything you see the Democrats doing, you can trace it back to getting more power. They're like these freaking Sith Lords, okay? They're like the dark side. They have this insatiable thirst for power. Like the Emperor in Star Wars Episode 3. Unlimited power! And he's like getting off on it like some kind of force-gasm. And that's what the Democrats do. So, one, you got to take the guns away. Why are the firearms pertinent to take away from citizens? Well, the AR-15 has been chosen as the enemy of the people and the democracy, which we're not a democracy. And the reason why they do that is the gun lobby, which is very powerful in DC. They have a lot of money. The AR-15 is the #1 selling rifle in the country and makes the most money for the gun industry. That's the only reason why the Democrats want to ban it. It's not to save lives, because the FBI stats, if you look it up, get this out of the way so I don't get poked in the eye on a future walk, that handguns and shotguns are the most common firearm used in mass shootings. So you cannot get rid of those anytime soon in America. So they chose the AR-15 as their poster child to go after, because all they want to do is they want to remove the money that they're paying Republicans in DC to support guns. So if they can cut off the money to these crooked, corrupt Republican politicians, which unfortunately, I have to admit, we have problems in this country with both major parties. The worst offenders are Democrats. The second worst offenders are Republicans. At least a third of the Republican Party has to be removed by the voters. The answer, my friends, is MAGA, okay? MAGA Republicans are the ones that want to save this country and give us the country we used to have when we were kids. The Rhino Republican and name only Republicans do not. Namely, my senator here, Susan Collins, who I'm probably going to be forced to vote for again, and that's what I hate about it. Because the main GOP is not going to prop up a challenger to her in a primary. Now, if I do get a primary candidate to vote for, I'm going to vote for the primary candidate if they're a good candidate. And that's a problem we have. Now, we did have a primary for a Republican congressman. We had Austin Theriault. If you see it and you're not familiar with Franco-American French, Canadian French, Theriault looks like it's spelled like Theriault in English, but it's Theriault, Austin Theriault, that's how it's pronounced. But he had Mike Sobolewski run against him, a current Maine state representative that I don't like, and he's a Republican. And why don't I like him? Well, he likes to make the right noises. Former police officer, long career record as a police officer. He never really came out to support Trump. He just said that what they were doing with trying to kick him off the ballot here was wrong. That's about the extent he would stick himself out. And Austin Theriault said, "Hi, I'm appointed, I'm recommended by Trump, vote for me. We'll fix America. We have a lot of problems, corruption, blah, blah, blah." And Austin Theriault is a business person. Mike Sobolewski is a career politician who's been in public service for 30-something years, which is exactly who we need to get rid of. And what really burned my ass about him was the Senate Majority Leader, a Democrat, okay, in Maine, was promoting gun control and promoting other crazy stuff. And Mike Sobolewski, the Republican, made a backroom deal with him on the Portland Sea Dogs, a professional baseball team, AAA, I believe, in Portland, Maine, who needed a new clubhouse. Okay, well, you know, the league passed rules where if you don't get a new clubhouse, you're not going to be allowed to play. And so the league mandated that. And they, in turn, is the city of Portland's responsibility. Now, Portland's the largest city in Maine. They got about 80,000 people. It was their responsibility to pay for that, and they didn't because they spent the money elsewhere. Where did they spend it? Well, you already know where they spent it. Immigrants and all the bullshit. So, hotel rooms for the immigrants, yada yada. At the tune of 52-something million a year, I believe. Just for a handful of families. The costs are astronomical. So, they didn't have the money for clubhouse. So what did this Mike Sobolewski, supposed conservative Republican, do? Well, he made a backroom deal with the Senate Majority Leader, or a Democrat, who has reached the end of his term, so he's out. But I'm sure they'll replace him with somebody else just as bad, if not worse. And the deal was they would bring this up in the legislature to fund stadium renovations that the city of Portland was supposed to pay. So, to make the story even longer, the company that owns the Portland Sea Dogs baseball AAA affiliate is a major corporation that owns half of the team's leagues. They're a multi-billion-dollar corporation who could easily afford the few million it would take to renovate this ball clubhouse. But they weren't going to do it, okay? They said, well, you guys said you were going to pay it, we're not going to pay it. And if you guys don't pay it, well, we're going to move our team. So the Sobolewski made a deal with the Senate Majority Leader that it would be brought up in the legislature. And most of the Republicans in the legislature voted against it, except Mike Sobolewski, I mean. He voted for it. That, my friends, okay, everything I just told you, in case you didn't know, is what happened in DC nationally with our entire country for decades. It's called corporate welfare. Corporate welfare. That is giving rich corporations a break and funding what they should be paying themselves using tax dollars and putting us in debt. So that's what they did. That's why I didn't vote for Mike Sobolewski in the primary, because he's one of those Republicans we need to get rid of that was making backroom deals. And on top of that, Mike Sobolewski was causing friction between him and Austin Theriault by causing division among Trump voters. So when that happened, the decision was final, and he only did that because he realized he was losing and it was desperate. And he got primaried. He got voted out. Austin Theriault is our candidate. Now, that being said, after telling you all of that, Austin Theriault is not a very exciting candidate. He's well-spoken, he's modest, he's polite, he's quiet, he's not very assertive. It's the type of person that walked into the room, you wouldn't notice him. And unfortunately today, that's not something that wins. He has good policies. He supports Trump every time he speaks. He has good commercials on TV and the internet. Hopefully that'll be enough. But Jared Golden, the Democrat, which by the way is sitting in a stolen Republican seat that he stole in 2018, where the governor of Maine, Paul LePage, a Trump-esque figure who was Trump-like before Trump was elected, he made the national news like Trump does for the same reasons before Trump even went down the escalator. He signed on the legal recognition of the election results. He signed his name as governor for Congressman Jared Golden, and he signed it literally for the state records stolen election because they used ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting can be a nightmare, but I honestly believe, okay, that voters have figured it out. They'll figure it out in Alaska too, okay? You had Lisa Murkowski in Alaska win when she shouldn't have. And you also had Sarah Palin lose because of ranked choice voting in like the reddest freaking state, one of them, Alaska. So it's not a good thing to have ranked choice voting. And if you don't understand ranked choice voting and they're going to be bringing it in your state, you better get off the couch and fight it, I'll tell you. Because basically what it is it allows the Democrats to cheat by not openly cheating. A lot of states, when you have an election with two candidates, or three candidates, you have an independent, and neither candidate reaches 50% of the vote, you have a runoff election. Now, the argument for the ranked choice voting is to eliminate the runoff election by having an instant runoff election using the votes you already got. That's basically the summary of it. Problem with it is the Democrats in Maine always manage to get two left-leaning independents on the ballot by talking them into running and then financially supporting those independent candidates a little bit with anonymous donors, okay? Anonymous small donations. That's how the Democratic Party washes money for the election. It's not a crime for anonymous small donors to donate $150, $200, $300 here and there So they send operatives out to donate the money from your laptop or whatever. Now what happens is you end up with left-leaning independents on the ballot. And how ranked choice voting works is that when you vote, you'll have 6 choices or 5 choices or 4 candidates or whatever it is, and you can list them in your order of preference by filling in the circles with a check mark. In Maine, you actually color in the ovals. And what that does is, let's say in 2020, we had Donald Trump, we had Joe Biden, we had Jill Stein, we had a couple other people on there I never heard of, Rocky something or other, some car dealership owner in California, and whatever else. So Jill Stein is a perfect example of a left-leaning independent. All right. Now, we don't use ranked choice voting nationally, but we do use it for presidential elections here in Maine because that's the law here. And so we use it for presidential elections. So that means you vote on the ballot for Donald Trump as your #1 choice. And then, okay, well, if Trump doesn't win, I'm going to pick this independent. So you cast another vote for that independent. So on and so forth. You can either choose all 5 candidates, ranked by your choice, according to how you rank them as candidates, or you can just vote for one candidate and ignore all the other ones. Now, the first year they did this, they used a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo on the ballot, not realizing that maybe some people have a difficult time reading, they're illiterate, whatever, stating a whole bunch of legal jargon, basically telling you that you don't have to vote for everybody on the ballot, just the one you want. You can vote for one or as many as you want. So this created a lot of confusion, because people feel like if you got something on your ballot and you're not filling it in, that you're doing something wrong and you're spoiling your ballot. So that's the problem we had here in Maine the first year they did that. Everybody felt like they had to vote for everybody on it no matter what, and there was no choice. I even saw a woman on Facebook, she was absolutely irate. I was forced to vote for Donald Trump. I didn't want to vote for him at all. That effing this and son of a bitch in this. And she didn't have to vote for him. She chose him last, hoping he wouldn't win. So now people have caught on to that. They've figured it out, and ranked choice voting has not really been a factor in our elections at all. It really hasn't, since they've instituted it. Perfect example of that is Susan Collins, when she won re-election, 2020, I believe. She got 54% of the vote. Now, when you get over 50% of the vote, it negates ranked choice voting. So people figured out that if I vote for the independent because I don't like Susan Collins, my vote is probably going to end up going to either a Democrat or a Republican. Because if you don't do your research and you have a left-leaning independent and you choose that independent because you don't like Susan Collins, well, your vote could very well end up going to the Democrat because they're ranked, it's a ranked choice. So if Susan Collins and the woman she was going against both got less than 50% of the vote, then the independents' votes would be divided up by what their ranked choice was. So if their first choice was the opponent to Susan Collins, the Democrat, then their independent vote that they chose as their second choice would go to the Democrat. So somebody that voted for an independent has their vote end up counting for a Democrat. And tell me where that's fair. It's not. So what people have been doing is they have been leaving the ballot blank and just choosing who they want to vote for. When I voted in 2020, I voted for Donald Trump, and I didn't fill anything else in. Now, some people get the idea that think you have to pick all of your options. You have to pick each one of the choices because they're listed like you'll have Biden, Trump, blah, 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 and then you'll have first, second, third, fourth, fifth choice. If you got 5 candidates, you get 5 options. So a lot of people, what they did was you had Trump, and then you put dot, 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 straight across all of the votes for Donald Trump as their pick. Now, the state knew that some people would do that, and they said if you do that, it just counts the same as if you just put 1 dot next to Trump. All of those other ones are wiped out. So, we've had that since 2018. People have caught on to how it works. They've also caught on to how the candidates are added to the ballots. And now people are better informed. I will say that ranked choice voting caused voters to be more concerned and pay more attention. So I'm anticipating a fair, honest presidential election in Maine. Joe Biden won, I believe, by 20,000 votes. And 75% of the state in the southwestern part of Maine is liberal. So mathematically, that all made sense. Susan Collins won her election easily. And in 2018, I believe. No, 2020. She won in 2020. That's right. So, but anyway, you get the idea of what I'm saying. They want to rig the system whatever way they can get away with, and ranked choice voting, I think they really honestly thought that was a good idea. It worked for one election. It's not going to work for the other ones. And, you know, it all depends on who and what is on the ballot. And getting back to my point, Austin Terrio, it would probably be more exciting watching paint dry than listening to him speak. Which is unfortunate because he's probably not going to beat the Democrat. And he was endorsed by Trump, or I should say Trump's campaign team, his election committee, whatever he has. I don't think Trump actually sits there and handpicks all these people. So he is a MAGA Republican, and most of Maine is MAGA country, so the problem is going to be southwestern Maine, where all those liberal Democrats are. Is he going to be able to win over the liberals in this area? Maybe. Maybe people have seen the price of food. They've seen enough. We're not going to know because we can't get honest polling here because nobody lives here. And the University of New Hampshire did that poll where they said Kamala Harris was leading Trump by 17 points in ME2 in Maine, and that is completely outrageously ridiculous. None such thing has ever happened. So I hit 3 miles just now. So anyway, we're going along. I really don't know what's going to happen this election. I have a feeling that Republicans are going to perform well for the presidential election. I think we're going to do well for the Senate. And the Congress, House, I don't think Republicans are going to do as well as they could have. They spent too much time fighting with each other, making too many national headlines for stupid reasons. Yes, getting rid of McCarthy was important, but it made us, you had all this other stuff going on too, where it just looked like Republicans were just all fighting with each other because that's what they were doing. And it's basically the rhinos fighting with MAGA. We want MAGA. That's what we want. That's what I want. So, in fact, I would like nothing more than to see the Republican Party, as we knew it growing up, crumble apart and fade away, and be reinstituted as the MAGA Party, MAGA Republicans, and honoring the greats like Ronald Reagan and people that were wonderful with us. And even Ronald Reagan had his faults. You can look those up. Trump sure as hell isn't perfect. But he's, you know, in the words of Dennis Quaid, Randy Quaid's brother, he came out and he's supporting Trump. He's never spoken about politics before. And he said he was voting Trump. He said, yep, Trump's an asshole, but he's our asshole. You know? And that's how I feel about it. So anyway, the latest thing they're harping on about Trump is he was speaking and he said something about deporting immigrants. And then he mentioned something about how it was going to be bloody. Then he stopped himself what he was saying. And a lot of people are trying to say that he was promising bloodshed with the immigrants. And no, he had just been talking about the Venezuelans here causing violence, murder, rape, drugs. And he said rounding them up is going to be bloody because these people are criminals. They'll fight back. They don't want to go back to Venezuela. Rounding them up is going to be very difficult. That's what he was saying. And they tried to make it a new bloodbath moment. You know, and they even mentioned Project 2025 again when they were talking about it. It's like, these people are freaking hopeless. Why can't they just realize they're freaking losing with that stupidity? It's not working. So, and the other thing is they've been doing that, hiding Kamala from the public and propping her up with the media. They're claiming, some people were suggesting that they're doing that because that worked so well for Biden. And no, it didn't. He barely won. Biden barely won in 2020, and they cheated to do it. I think he was 11,000 votes in Georgia. He won 20,000 in Wisconsin. Michigan, same thing, 30,000 votes. That's not a huge win, folks. Trump is more popular now than he was then, and Kamala Harris is underperforming. So it's really important to remember those two things. And the current polling is starting to reflect that. She got absolutely no bump at all from the CNN interview. In fact, that actually hurt her, and as well it should. What I'd like to see is the 40 minutes they left on the cutting room floor, and the campaign did not want it aired. They only aired 18 minutes. It was supposed to be an hour interview. Shameful. She's terrible. Anyways, that's what we got going on with that, folks. Hope you're enjoying the conversation. On my walk here, I stopped and picked up an empty jug on the side of the road. This is called chute cycling. This is where you use empty containers, fill them with water, then you bring them to the shooting range and dispense with them properly with your favorite high-powered bolt-action rifle, or semi-automatic rifle, or shotgun. Sometimes it's fun to set up water jugs and take them out with shotguns. Do some rapid fire. Pow, 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 pow. It's always fun to do. So this is going to go in the shoot cycle bin. So we shoot them and then we throw them out in the trash properly instead of leaving them on the side of the road. and we get a little bit of fun out of it. So this is Trump country right here. 100% mostly. That's completely not what the definition of 100% is, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Up ahead here, we're going to see a giant crucifix nailed to a tree, and there's a light that shines on it at night. My keys rattling in my pocket. So, nice country out here. Now this is more towards our neighborhood where we actually live in this area, general area. A lot of conservatives over here. So that crucifix nailed to a tree is lit up at night. And it looks like there's a platform on there to stand on, so I haven't seen it yet, but I think they might have some kind of mannequin that looks like Jesus they put out there sometimes for religious holidays. I'm not sure. Something I would do. I think that'd be pretty cool, actually. So and if you're new to walking, I get a lot of suggestions. You see that person right there? Oh wow. Oh, we just missed it. And you can't see that from here, but there's like about 20 wild turkeys crossing the road up ahead. I hope they're still there when we go by. They were waiting for the slowpoke on the end. Maybe you saw that, maybe you didn't. There's a lot of wild turkeys and deer around here. We're gonna have hunting season for turkeys coming up too. I see one out there on the lawn. We'll see if they're, yeah, the dog sees them. I want to see the turkeys. We're too late. We didn't time that right. Oh, there he is, look. He's right here in the road. Where's he going? Oh, he wants to go back across the road. He doesn't like the dog. Go ahead, it's safe. Oh wow, look at them all. Wow, there's a whole bunch in the yard over there. See them? And we got this guy. And we got all these other ones out here in the wood. That's what they're doing. They're waiting for these turkeys. That's okay. I'll be gone in a second. You'll have your babies. See, we got their babies out here. I'll be gone in a minute, guys. See that? That's one of the head honchos. He's like running guard on the back now. He's gonna scoot across the road and go get those other turkeys. See that? He's gonna go get those young stragglers back there. There they are, they see him. So he'll go gather his flock, get him across the road without getting killed, hopefully. I kind of interrupted what they were doing, so I hope some car doesn't come by and run them over, because then it would be my fault, because I distracted what they were doing when it was safe. So, but anyway, we always see something on the walks. And we see a lot of turkey. We get a lot of deer in the yard. They're all over the place. In fact, not the last woods walk I did, but the one before that, woods walk number 27 in the Woods Walk Gun Talk playlist on YouTube. We had 3 deer that I was close enough to spit on if I wanted to, which I would never do. I'm just saying they were like right there. So we got this truck coming here. Hopefully they won't run over those turkeys. Don't run over the turkeys. We got this giant water shed back there. One of our walks through here, we saw these geese come in and land on the water. They did water landing. Thank you. So there's that cross I was talking about right here. I feel like I'm gumming up the works. I'm in everybody's way today. Now we're going to pass a farm up ahead that has, they have llamas on it, or alpacas. I think they're llamas. Can't really tell the difference. They're not the same, but a llama looks like an alpaca and vice versa. This is also the tree that had free cucumbers, if anybody wants one. Ooh, look at the size of that. Oh my God, that's a huge turkey right on the front of that truck. Look at it. He's checking out the grill on it. He's probably looking at his reflection. Isn't that funny? Wow, that sucker's huge. Look at him. The turkeys are out. The turkeys are out. That was a big one. That sucker would feed the whole family. Well, Ben Franklin wanted the turkey to be the national bird, and I'm glad they didn't choose that because it'd be illegal to eat them. And the bald eagles would be gone. On top of that. So they would have been gone forever, extinct. Well, I don't see any llamas out there today. They're hard to catch out here. I've only seen them a couple times. They got this whole area right here. They ought to just let them run around. They got a whole pen over there. They have that giant cutout of a llama on the side of the building. They're in there. I can't see them. We're not allowed. Absolutely beautiful day today. Well, some of these leaves are thinking about turning. You can see some up ahead that look kind of orangish. This is going to be a pretty walk through here when these leaves are falling, because every year it's gorgeous. And I didn't upload any video up here last year. There's some beekeepers out there, and some beehives. And we got a lot of things out here like camp wood, $5. You get a bundle. It's an honor system. You just put your money in the can. You know, people aren't going to be cheap enough to steal a bundle of wood and not pay. I wouldn't do that in downtown Detroit, but or New York City. Look at that beautiful view. A lot of times I see turkeys out in this field too, so. But I think we just saw them up ahead there. Maybe we'll see something. I haven't seen this vegetable stand open yet. I think I see something out there. What am I looking at out there? There's something out there. What is that? Right directly ahead, on the edge of that kind of brownish grass, right on the very end, there's something there moving. I think it's a turkey vulture. Those things are freaking homely. Big birds too. So turkey vultures, I looked those up online. Those freaking things are ugly. Get a better look through here. No, those are turkeys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Separate group from those other ones. So the turkeys are busy right now. Fall is here, winter will be here soon enough. They're out there getting fat, I guess. Try to survive the winter. So pretty cool, huh? Thank you for walking with J.Beau. An almost daily walking vlog. There we go. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right directly ahead, right there. 7. And we had these maple trees tapped a while back. I had buckets on these trees collecting maple syrup when spring was here. I got a spring video of that. I think I shot that video in April, something like that. So we just hit 4 miles. There's a Trump sign on the lawn back there. It's an older one. It says Trump Pence. But you could take a Trump Pence sign and cover the PE in black or blue, and then just put like white tape over it or paint it a VA. That'd be Trump Vance. But they all say 2020 on it, and we don't want that. So I got to get a new Trump sign. Got a Trump flag flying. I don't have a Trump sign. And I did have a lawn sign that somebody ripped out of the ground and tore it up. And it was after the election, if you can believe that. So now we did see a couple of college girls out jogging, and they were posing for pictures in front of our neighbor's Trump sign, and they also posed for pictures out front of our Trump flag. So I don't know why they did that. I don't know if they're going to be sending those back home, and maybe they come from a big city, they're here going to Bates College, and they think it's something amusing. They're going to post those online, probably laugh at us and make fun of us or something like that. But you know, so be it. It's free country. Just don't come back and try to steal it. Crazy world we're living in, folks. Friggin' bananas. If it gets crazy enough, I can't even follow these power lines up this way. That would take me to Canada. Because we are a border state in Maine. A lot of people don't realize that. we've pretty much everybody here has been to Canada at least once. I went to Montreal with my brother, and we went there to see the Montreal Canadiens and Boston Bruins hockey game in Montreal. And I went to Montreal with the Bruins jersey. Had a great time. I'd like to find those pictures that I took. I've got them somewhere. They are somewhere. I'm pretty sure I would still have those someplace. So, anyway, that was after 9/11, so crossing the border into Canada, nobody really cared. It was on the way back, it was a problem. Under the search vehicle with mirrors and bomb-sniffing dogs and every other damn thing. We had to get out of the vehicle and let them search everything. If we were on the border with Mexico, we could just walk across through a hole in the fence. How friggin' comical is that? That's a friggin' joke. Like somebody's up here. What are they doing? What are they doing up here? Is it a wheelchair? What is that? Oh, they got trash bags. Are they just going down the road cleaning trash? It might be what they're doing. Might be homeless people. Can you imagine that? What the hell are they doing out here? Yeah, they're collecting cans. Wow. How you doing? Wow, that's depressing. Well, there it is, folks. Hey, how you doing? This is about where I need to change my battery. So that car had a gas leak. Could smell gasoline on that car that went by. Oh, we'll head down this way. Gotta cut across over here. Another Trump sign here. Well, first of all, apologize for getting upset back there, but you have homeless people that have figured out that if you go on trash day through these neighborhoods, you can pick up a lot of trash that they can recycle for money. It's not what I have a problem with. I don't have a problem with them doing that. I have a problem with the fact that they have to do that. In this country that gives billions of dollars away to Ukraine and every other damn place, that we can't take care of that here, really? I've never seen homeless people in this neighborhood ever, not ever. That's the first time. And excuse me if I get upset, but that's freaking bullshit. This is what we're getting with people voting for that garbage that's in DC. Anyway, well, I did not like seeing that. I really didn't. I gotta tell you. And if you're familiar with my channel, you'll know that every time I run into people, I always say hi to them. And the reason why I do that is you can gauge somebody's persona and demeanor immediately after you say hi to them. It's called situational awareness. Now, I know those two homeless people there were harmless. They weren't going to be violent. And again, I'll reiterate, that's not what the problem is. I'm ticked off that in this country today, we're even seeing that in good neighborhoods. That's what I'm ticked off about. Anyway, it's a beautiful day today regardless. And we saw turkeys. So there you have it. That was pretty awesome. And so anyhow, the election's coming up quick, folks. Early voting's going to start this week, I believe, in Pennsylvania. We got the debate tomorrow night. Should be interesting. We'll see how well Kamala studied. She has a notorious reputation for not caring and not doing the homework. She's intellectually lazy. She's a lazy person. She's a weed head, for one thing, self-professed. And that's what we got running for the White House. She's even worse than Joe Biden. At least Joe Biden was has more clout as a candidate with more knowledgeable people around him, at least for their far left extremist cause, is my point. And Kamala is going to be even worse of a puppet. So over here we got a pile of wood waiting for winter. They're stocking up their cords of wood for winter time. So winter is coming. People are getting prepared for heating. So we're going to head on down here. Now we got somebody else sitting out on the lawn down here. What's this all about? Hopefully that's just a regular person hanging out. I don't know what the hell's going on anymore, to be honest with you. Somebody with a backpack. Is he a vagrant? Does he live around here? Is he homeless? Or is he sheltered? Alright, well, I'm gonna head back to the ranch. I stopped my walking app by mistake because I clicked on my screen, taking that out of my pocket because the screensaver was not on. But I already know this route's going to bring me about 6 miles. So anyway, I'm going to thank you for walking with me now. And thank you for liking the channel. Click like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this walk with me today. And we'll see you on the next walk, friends. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. And watch the debate tomorrow night. Bye-bye, everybody.